This week is about the Trust the Pain friend and the password keeper friend. Hi, I'm Pastor Brenda. It is an honor to meet you in this space. Hopefully you've downloaded the PDF that you can find in the notes here, or you've been following along in this series about how to make friends, or how to put people on your life team that will support you through stuff. Tonight's two friends we're going to talk about, you need to intentionally find. They're rare people, but they are important members of your life team. So looking at your notes, the Trust the Pain friend is you two have traveled difficult life experience together. Maybe it was just you who went through a very smashed heart season, and this is the person that carried you through. This person understands something about you that no one else in your life does. These people who do this tend to be temporary. We'll get to that in a moment, but you never forget them. This is a temporary friend, but who will always hold a seat on your life team because of what this person has done for you, how this person has formed you to be who you are today. There's always a place of honor on your life team for this person. This person could come from an overcomers group or support group because that's this kind of person. So I'm going to dedicate this Trust the Pain friend to a real life friend of mine named Kelly. Now, back in January 1990, I suffered a very, very dark season in my life. It was a ministry betrayal that knocked the faith right out of me. I've had many smash heart seasons in my life since January 1990, but this is the one season where I thought I might leave my faith behind. Like, God is not good. How could God allow this and the repercussions to happen? And if God is good, then I don't want to serve a God like that. And I had these deep, deep doubts. And in this season, in this darkness, came my friend Kelly. And she was in 100% support of me. I mean it when I say she carried me through for about a year and a half. It was with her words. It was when we would go out to dinner and she would pay for dinner because I could not afford it. It was the small gifts that she gave me. It was the intentionality, time after time after time. I cannot imagine this horrible event without her presence, her words, her encouragement. She was Jesus with skin on for me when I believed that God was not good. But it was just months after I was the maid of honor in her wedding. And through this year and a half, her fiance had gotten very used to being a third wheel to us. Maybe I was the third wheel, but I felt so valued by Kelly at this time. And it was just after I was maid of honor, she dumped me. Just bam, done. One day she accused me of all sorts of wild accusations and cut me out of her life. Gone. It was so quick and so empty. I don't know who she is anymore, as I know she holds my deepest, darkest doubts. She has them. And I'm grateful to her. Even, I see her on Facebook. I don't know who she is anymore, and I know she holds my doubts. And I still honor the legacy she has in my life. I have this broken-hearted, brave life. This is just the life I have chosen. Part of it is simply what life brought me. Part of it has been my choices that I've made. Part of it is where a big faith just leads you. I could never be alone in this choice of a life I have chosen. I need people to carry me at times. And I have learned this intentionality. So much so that I've written a book about this called I Wish I Could Carry Your Pain. Strongest don't like to be carried, but I'm over that lie. Romans 12:15 says, be happy with those who are happy and weep with those who weep. I call this brave compassion. In my life, in my long life, I guess, I've had to ask for groceries. I've had to ask for a car to use. I've had to ask others to make prison visits for me. Hebrews 10:24 says, let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. My life team and my community have stepped in to provide this for me when I could not. I can't live this big, brave faith life alone. I have learned that. So, first question for you. I have a Bravester principle, and Bravester, as in S-T-E-R, like hipster, is the website I write my brave story at. So this is my Bravester principle is, suffering well is a community project. What does that mean? Hope you gathered with your roommates or your family. What does suffering well as a community project mean? I'll be back. Galatians 6:2 says, share each other's burdens and in this way obey the law of Christ. Right? 1 Peter 4:10, God has given each of you a gift from his great variety of spiritual gifts. Use them well to serve one another. I need to be in a vulnerable relationship with somebody. That's what a big, brave faith requires. I need encouragement. I need cheering on. I need to be told that I did make the right choice or the wrong choice. But here's the thing. Not just anyone can tell me that. For it to sink into my calloused heart, it has to come from people who know that calloused heart. This knowing comes from my feeling safe enough to be vulnerable. These vulnerable relationships, for me, often include more than one person. Because sometimes my big, brave life can be a lot. I'm okay with that. But I trust certain people, which then allows me to lead the rest of my life with a bigger, braver faith. When I can trust just a few people, the rest of my life can make sense. Pain so often wants to make us small. We hide our pain, we cover our pain, we numb our pain, we lie about our pain. There are moments when we truly can't get out of bed in the morning, or we don't tell anyone. We may not shower for a couple of days, and we may not tell anyone. We muddle through it until it feels safe again to show our beautiful faces, or at least our filtered faces. There have been moments in my life when I've allowed certain others to see my pain. They have helped me carry my pain. And it is in those precious moments, those scary, precious moments, when both of us have experienced awe. And awe takes away your breath. It is beautiful. It is all-encompassing, at least for that beautiful moment. Pain can be that beautiful moment. Joy is a super emotion where you can be in pain and still feel joy, because joy is one of those ones that can mix and still be present. So it wasn't that long ago, I was meeting up with a grown teen of mine, his name's Scott, and let me tell you, he's grown into a good, godly man. And I can tell you that, oh boy, that matters to me. Oh, that matters to me. We were just having this fine conversation where I was warm with hearing about Scott's life and his choices to follow God. And he asked me some questions back. And I decided to just share one story with him about a meeting I had with a probation officer. Because if you know my story, my big brave faith story, prison, the justice system are all part of my life. And I had just happened to have a pretty good meeting with my son's probation officer. I felt pretty hopeful about it. And I was telling him the story. And it was like I said, it was a good story. And I saw his eyes well up with tears. And he leaned forward and said, I didn't know your life involved that. He doesn't know all of it. He knows that one story. But we had that moment of awe. And did he ever serve me well? Did he ever encourage me? It was beautiful. So, give me a moment. This is just the starting list of what starts to shine when someone comes near my pain with me. I'm not alone. Loneliness can't lie to me that I'm alone. The lie deep in my head that has become extra loud in this tragedy are quieted for a while. Just for a while. But when you're near to me, that while is really nice to have a break. I don't have to pretend to be okay. I see God through your actions towards me. I see God as good again. I giggle again. Sometimes I laugh full from the gut. Joy and pain, super emotion of joy can be together. I see a way through, enough at least to make a plan B through this. I'm overwhelmed less. I hear you say that you're praying for me, and I believe you. Because when I hear others saying they're praying for me, I don't really believe them. And in these awe-inspiring moments, but still in my pain, I begin to see beauty somehow. I'm extra touched by a tree, or a song, or a story, or a movie that no one else liked, but a line said in that movie felt exactly like how I'm feeling. So this movie will always be bonded to me as a moment of hope. Not everyone has its place in my life. In fact, the list is small. I wisely choose who I expose this kind of vulnerability to. I know I cannot bear to be smashed even further by trusting fools. This is a lot of intentionality, and this is also a priority. This is the bonus of having a trust the pain friend, is I am protected from oversharing. Oversharing is really a numbing behavior. Oversharing is dealing with the shame in such a way that you overshare to get a shot of dopamine for attention. I mean, you feel terrible. Pain has you really low. So when you get to share your pain with somebody not worthy, it feels good for that moment. This is what I'm talking about. Or you overshare as an excuse why no one understands you. And you overshare and you go home and like, see, I'm all alone in this situation. And that's the message loneliness is telling you. Oof, okay? Thus, the excuse starts to keep you in your shame, to keep you in your small world with someone, often anyone, endorsing that shame-filled decision. Like, no one understands me, I'm just going to stay in bed another day. What a train wreck. And people avoid train wrecks. I, with my stories, could have a reputation as a train wreck and then never receive the help I need to get through. But when I've trusted this to a certain few people, and boy, am I intentional, I am seen, I am heard, I am carried, and I'm not seeking all this stuff to justify my brokenheartedness. That becomes enough. And this is where our humility really shines. Again, we did a whole series on humility. I'm going to put a card for that right there. Our definition again is humility is not having too high nor too low expectations of yourself. You know your strengths and your limitations. Humility is about being the right size in any given situation. So you enter the world with your enoughness, which means you can see others and make generous assumptions about them because others can't take away your identity. That's our definition of humility. There's so much in there. Watch the series. But since you don't need to take your identity from me, you can listen and really be there. And when I need you to, you can carry some of my pain because I can't anymore. But because my identity, your identity is not in my relationship with you, but it comes from this everlasting God who has no end. You can then carry my pain for a while, and I can trust you with it because of this humility. I know you know your limits and your strengths. I know you won't be a know-it-all, And I know you won't be comparing my pain to your pain. That really doesn't help. You may say it because you think you're trying to be helpful by comparing pain. I don't need that at this moment. I don't need to hear about your pain. Mine's too much for me already. And I know you will also stay curious. In this series about humility, we learned a lot about how humility keeps you in curiosity and what a learning posture that is. And you're going to continue to learn and help me and learn how to help me. Oh, do I need you? Humility is full of this kind of it. And I know in your humility, you won't be giving me platitudes and you won't be giving me drive-by prayers. That's not very helpful. So in my book here, I wanted to show it to you. It's not very big. Let me see if I can show you here. It's got doodles in it, so it's even smaller. But it's a really helpful book. Some of these things that I've been talking to you about, you can find in this book. You can order it at bravestir.com. I want to read to you. I've got 3 pages of really helpful tips. So I just want to read to you 1 page, so you can understand what I'm talking about here and how your humility plays into this. Do not minimize my loss. You're removing yourself from my pain. Do not offer advice. You're removing yourself from my pain. Do not say, okay, get it up, get it together, get up. You're removing yourself from my pain. Do not try a joke or show me a funny meme. You're removing yourself from my pain. Do not say things or ask me questions that will help you keep your world in order, or at least safe. You may think your question is helpful to me, but think about it again. It may have been more helpful to you. You're removing yourself from my pain. Do not begin a response of at least, such as, at least you have your faith, or at least you can still walk, or at least the sun came out today. Most at least statements sound this ridiculous. You're removing yourself from my pain. Offer your love and your caring with simple words I can hear and understand. I will probably have blurry memory of those simple words you said to me because you will have touched me so beautifully. You have a choice. You either gather your bravery to love me enough to enter into my pain or skim across the surface with jokes, comparison, anything to avoid being vulnerable with me. Really helpful book. Now the truth I've learned about these people who have served in this life chair position in my life is that they're temporary. And that hurts. I often think, and I can tell myself this, that I am too much. These people are temporary because my life pain shakes up their life and their doubts with God. And they can only carry me for such a season, and then they're off to someplace else. Well, one, friendships are seasonal. We've talked about that, and that's very consistent all the way through. This isn't all about me. And I used to think that for a friendship to be real and good, it had to be a life friend. One that would just make it through all the seasons. Now, this is a whole different chair. So my next question for you, think about this. Why are trust the pain friends often temporary? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but have that conversation. One more kind of big thinking thought. It takes trust to laugh with someone, just like it does to sit with them in the hard things. Even laughter requires trust. Then I mentioned the password keeper friend. Let me give you this description and you'll see why I put it here. This person has the key to your home, your key, and your passwords. Someone besides you who lives in the house has to have this. This person has permission to burn your journals too. This person is a rare friend to have and is not a temporary friend, but it definitely needs to be a part of your life team. Start thinking about who that can be. I have a couple closing big thoughts for you. It's coming like awe-inspiring thoughts. It takes trust to laugh with someone just like it does to sit with the hard things. Think about that. To have a really good, safe laugh with someone, that also requires trust. I mentioned the password keeper friend. It's in your life team list here. Let me read this and you'll see what I mean by the intentionality and the vulnerability here. This person has the key to your home, your car, and passwords. Someone besides you who lives in the house has all this information. This person also has permission to burn your journals or whatever else. This is that person. This person has a permanent seat on your life team. This is a rare person. You need to intentionally find it. Now, I know most people wish someone could love them unconditionally. You, if you know Jesus, you begin with someone who does love you unconditionally. You know Jesus. So live like it. When you know you already loved unconditionally, some of that, vulnerability, the walls, the bullying you put up, you can come down because you're beginning loved unconditionally. So now you can go pursue these highly vulnerable friends and to fit your life team. At the end of Job's disaster, from the book of Job, he wrote, I had only heard about you before, but now I've seen you with my own eyes. That's Job 42:5. Pain does have a way of showing us God in all truth. This is why pain is our beginning. I will never be able to unsee God's faithfulness to me in the depths of my pain. I've learned to see how God is beautiful through it all. So with that, I give you this blessing for when you feel like you are the bad thing by Kate Bowler. She's a podcaster and author. This is her prayer. Blessed are you who feel like the bad thing. You're everyone's reminder of their frailty, of life's cruelty. Your chronic pain or depression or regular scans remind those around you that life isn't fair or easy as they had hoped. Blessed are you who try to hide your humanity, you who temper your complaints, who avoid mentioning your next appointment, who pretend you are doing better than you are to make reality a little more palatable to others. You who try to make yourself easier to love, easier to be around, easier to manage. But dear one, blessed are you because you are not the bad thing. Your illness or grief or despair or addiction is not too much. It's just your humanity showing. And blessed are you who get to see it up close, who, despite our own fears and reminders of our finitude, get to hold your hand as you face each day with courage, confronting things you didn't choose. It is this kind of courageous living, the kind that shows all the shabby edges that we are so thankful to witness. You, Blessed One, remind us that life is so beautiful and life is so hard. And we feel lucky for the privilege to do life with you. No matter how difficult, no matter how messy, you are not the bad thing. You're a gift. And we love every bit of you. Amen.